This is our chapter number 1. And in chapter number 1, we're going to see something called payment method. Payment method. Now, as I said, payment method is all about the way we can make the payment to our supplier. Now, some of the payment method is very, very common for us. We already know it. For example, cash. This one is very common for us. We already know what is cash. So this is the physical money we give to the supplier for the product or for any other services. So if we paid to our supplier by cash, so this is our one of the payment method that is acceptable for any organization. And the next one we have check. Check is also very, very familiar for the business. So business can make the payment through check to their supplier. So supplier can receive the money from the customer through check. The next one we have debit card. I think this is very common as well. Everyone knows the payment method is a debit card. So you can make a payment by using your debit card. Then you have a credit card. This is one of the another common and very useful way to make the payment, because if you make the payment from the credit card, some credit card company give you the guarantee. So if something gone wrong, they will give you money back. So next thing we're going to see that is little bit maybe tricky and maybe we don't see it every day. So the next one we have the payment method that is bank overdraft, bank draft. Bank draft. So this is exactly like a check. Bank draft and the check is very, very familiar. So similar. So bank draft and the check is look like same, but the difference between these two is check is not the guaranteed payment. Check is not the guaranteed payment. So when you pay someone by check, and if the person don't have enough money on the bank, the check can be refused by the bank. Maybe the bank will say, listen, I cannot accept this check, or the check will not be deposited to your bank because the person give you the check, he don't have enough money or enough fund on his bank account. So check can be refused. But on the other hand, the bank draft will never be refused. This is the difference between that. So our bank draft is never refused. This is the difference between the bank draft and the check. The next thing we have here, standing order. For the standing order, we can see standing order is the way you can make the payment to the same person. You can make the payment to the same person and same amount and the same date. For example, if you want to pay your rent, let's say you want to pay your rent, and obviously the rent will be the same amount to same person and on the same date. So every month on 1st of January, 1st of February, 1st of March, every month on 1st, you pay the rent with the same amount to the same person. So rather than transferring the money every month, you can decide it to pay by standing order. So you set up the standing order from the bank and the money will go automatically from your bank on the same date to the same person and the same amount. This one is a very commonly used to pay the rent. Remember the 3 conditions for the standing order. The first one, the person has to be same, the amount has to be same, and the date has to be same. If these 3 conditions are fulfilled, you can pay anyone by standing order. The next one we have direct debit. This one kind of direct debit, standing order, but only the difference between the standing order and the direct debit is a kind of contract. So when you sign a paper and tell someone I'm going to pay by direct debit, you have to pay by direct debit. For example, sometimes the gas and electricity company, sometimes the council tax, sometimes our mobile phone contract, they said you have to pay by direct debit. So we sign a paper, next 2 years, I'm going to pay you by direct debit. So that is the contract. So I have to pay by direct debit. The difference between the direct debit and the standing order is direct debit, the amount could be go up and down. For example, if I pay my gas and electricity bill every month, the gas and electricity bill will be vary. It's not going to be same because this month maybe my electricity bill is 100, next month 150, then 200. So it will be changed. It will be never same. The standing order amount has to be same, but the direct debit amount could go up and down. But other condition, paying on the same date and paying to the same person will be same. So this is standing order, same person with the same fixed amount. Direct debit, no. Direct debit could be any amount, but paying to the same person. The next one we have that is called BACS Direct Credit, BACS, Bank Automated Clearing Service. Bank Automated Clearing Service. This one mainly used for pay the wages and salaries. So if you see this one anywhere, you need to understand you use this one to pay wages and salaries. This one you use to pay wages and salaries. BACS Direct Credit. The next one we have Chaps, Clearing House Automated Payment System. Chaps, Clearing House Automated Payment System. Chaps is the payment method that you use when the payment amount is really, really big. For example, if Tesco, if Tesco decided to buy Sainsbury, or if Tesco decided to buy Asda, the amount will be really, really big. So when the amount is really big, you use that service that is called Chaps. For example, if you try to transfer £1 million from your bank to someone's bank, your account will be freeze and the bank will tell you, listen, the amount is too big, you cannot just transfer it. So we need to use some more secure method to make the payment. So that time you use this service that is called Chaps. So in the exam, they might tell you the organization planning to buy a big premises, the organization planning to buy a aeroplane, the organization planning to buy a big land. They want to give you a clue that the amount is really big. So which payment method will be suitable? So you will choose Chaps. The next one we're going to see here that is called faster payment. The faster payment is all about when the supplier said, I need the money really, really fast, and the amount is not really big. So the supplier said, can you transfer the money by today? If the supplier give you pressure to transfer the money, like on immediate basis, then you can use that service that is called faster payment. So in the exam, that will give you the clue or hints that will tell you supplier want to get the payment by today. Then we understand which payment method will be suitable. That will be faster payment. So this all payment method we have to remember. When you work for organization as a bookkeeper and based on the transaction, if the company decided to buy aeroplane, if the company decided to pay the rent, if the company decided to pay for the gas and electricity, we can tell this is the suitable method. Okay, so this is the payment method. The next bit we're going to see that is called identify the effect of different payment method on the bank balance. Identify the effect of different payment method on the bank balance. So when we make the payment from our bank, it is very, very obvious the money will be go down from the bank. So our bank balance will be reduced. So if I pay from my bank for any reason, even if you buy something by using your debit card, the balance on the bank will go down. That's very simple. So when it will have effect, that's the question. Some of the payment methods, as soon as I make the payment, the balance goes down immediately. But some of the payment methods, the balance takes some time to clear from the bank account. For example, only two. Number one, this is a check. Number one, check, CHQ. Number one is a check, and number two is credit card. These two payment methods, if the company decided to pay by check and the credit card, because of these two payment methods, the bank balance don't go down immediately. For example, if you give someone check today, and if you come back to home, you will see the money is still there. For example, you had £10,000 at the opening balance, or let's say you have £10,000 today morning, and you give someone £5,000 check, and when you come back home, you will still see £10,000 is there because the balance don't go down immediately. The check and the credit card it can take up to 3 days to clear the balance. So check and the credit card, only these two payment methods will take more than 1 day or not an immediate effect. It will take more time to clear the balance from the bank balance. So you have to remember these two. And rest of this, debit card, then standing order, backs, Chaps, faster payment, any other payment method we use, the payment go immediately from the bank and the balance goes down, or the balance decrease immediately from the bank. Only except the check and the credit card, except these two. Okay, so let's move on to our next bit. The next topic we have here, this is our chapter overview. So we can see here all these payment methods. Because of that, the balance goes down immediately. Because of these two, don't reduce the fund. So reduce bank balance at later date. Reduce bank balance at later date. These two, check and credit card. And one more thing you have to remember, no effect on bank balance if cash withdraw from the till. Now, this is a bit tricky. The till is a machine. For example, when we go to Tesco, the person take the money and he keeps the money to the till. Now, if you take any money from the till, the bank have no relationship with the till. Till is a separate machine. So if anyone take money from the till or keep the money to the till, the bank balance remains same because bank have no direct connection to the till. Okay, this is a very good question, Sadia. What does PayPal fall under? Okay, the PayPal is kind of the agreement. PayPal is a kind of the agreement. Now, if you make a payment by PayPal to someone, what happened? From your account, money goes immediately. For your accounts, the money goes immediately, but the PayPal hold the money for a certain time. Sometimes they hold it for 28, 21 days. So PayPal don't give the money to the seller until 21 days is over. So in this period, if anything happen, if you're not happy with the product, if you have any complaint, if you let the PayPal know, maybe the PayPal will refund you if the reason is reasonable. So PayPal take the money from you immediately, but they will hold the money for a certain period. So if this question come in the exam, like if you make a payment by PayPal, so what will be the effect on the bank, immediately or later? So we will say immediately, not later. But this one will be not in the exam. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to our next bit. So let's try some example together. There is a lot of explanation here. You can read yourself, but I already explained all of this. So hopefully that will not give you any stress. Okay, let's talk about the first one. The first one here we have activity one. So on the activity one, we can see they're asking some question. Let's read this question. Said effect payment method have on the bank balance. So what is the effect we have on the bank balance? Identify the effect the different payment method have on the bank balance. Payment method, then we have reduce fund on the date of the payment. So for example, if I make a payment today, the money will go from my bank today. And the next one is says reduce fund at later date. So if I make a payment today, money will go later on from my bank account. So one is immediately, another one is later on. So let's try this question together. Cash withdraw from bank account. So if you withdraw some money from the bank account, what happened? The bank balance reduce immediately or later on. So obviously, all you need to write, you can say date of the payment or immediately. I'll understand that means it will go immediately. So we can say if we withdraw the bank, if we withdraw the money from the bank, our balance from the bank will go down immediately. Yes, that's correct, Luis. That will go immediately. Very well done, Muriel. So the balance will go down immediately. The next one we have check. What happens if we make a payment through check? What happens if we make a payment through check? As we already know, there is only two. There is only two methods. One is check and one is credit card. Only these two payment methods, the payment all is clear on the later date. So for the check, we'll say that will be later date. The next one we have debit card. What will happen if I pay by debit card? Is my balance will go down immediately or later on? Immediately. The balance will go down immediately. Very well done, Luis. Very well done, Nehal. Yes, the balance will go down immediately. So it's a debit card immediately. The final one we have credit card. What happens if we make the payment through credit card? If we make a credit card payment, the money will go from our bank account later date. Very well done, Anna. Very well done, Tahamina. Very well done, Banu. Yes, Sadia. Very well done, Evelyn. That will be reduced later date. Okay. So from chapter number one, we're expecting like kind of 12 marks question. So you make sure this is very easy chapter, so you don't lose any single marks from chapter number one. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What do you have? The next point we have here, there is a different explanation, but we already explained all of this. Let's move on to activity 2. Let's read this question. It says, match each situation with the most appropriate payment method by selecting from the pick list. So they're asking, choose the most appropriate way to make the payment for that situation. The first one, they said, making a monthly payment for telephone expense. How we can pay the monthly payment for the telephone expense? We have some option here, cash, check, credit card, direct debit, and standing order. So what is the most suitable way? The most suitable way is a direct debit because all of our phone we have, you see we paid by direct debit. Even the amount could go up and down, we can pay over the direct debit. So this is the most suitable way. We can make the payment, we set direct debit. The next one is says paying for item brought over the internet from a supplier used infrequently by the business. So you buy something from internet. How could you make the payment? We can make by payment both either debit card or either credit card. But in this pick list, we have only credit card, no debit card. So we'll pick the credit card. So we said that will be credit card. Okay, the last one. The last one we have here, making a regular rent payment to the landlord. The amount payable is fixed for 2 years. So you are paying rent to a person that is fixed for next 2 years. So how can you pay that? As we said, if we pay to the same person and the same amount and for a certain period fixed amount, so we can use the standing order. Remember the difference between the standing order and the direct debit. Standing order, the amount has to be same, then the person has to be same and the date has to be same. So it will be fixed for certain period. We can use the standing order. So we said standing order. Standing order. Okay, very well done, Fatima. Very well done, Banu. Very well done, everyone. So you can see this is very straightforward, nice chapter. So we hope we'll get full marks from this chapter. Okay, let's try that one. Activity 3. On activity 3 is saying, again, effect payment method have on the bank balance. So let's talk about this one. First one is standing order. Is it immediately or no effect? Standing order. If we make a payment by standing order to someone, so it will reduce the fund on date of the payment or no effect. So it will be happen definitely immediately. Remember that. Only except the credit card and the check. Only check and the credit card is later on. Any other thing is immediately. Only if the money have been moved from the till, there is no effect. Remember that. So that will be our immediately. The next one we have debit card. What happened if we use our debit card to make the payment? So that will be also immediately. The money will go down from the bank immediately. So our bank balance will go down immediately. So we said immediately. The next one we have cash withdraw from the till. What happens if we withdraw some cash from the till? So if we take the money from the till, remember that the till is not a bank. Till is the machine used by the company. For example, if we go to Tesco, we see the person who take the money, he keep in a box. This is the till. He gave me the receipt and he kept the money on a machine. This is the till. If I take any money from the till, our bank has no idea what's happening with that. So till is a separate thing. Till have no relationship with the bank. So because of the withdraw from the till, our bank balance will be still same and there will be no effect on that. So we'll say no effect. Finally, we say the faster payment. Faster payment. What happens if we use the faster payment to make the payment to our supplier? So what happened? It is immediately affected. It will be immediately effect on our bank balance or later on, or no effect. So the answer is immediate. Very well done. So that will be the immediate impact. All right, so we can see we understand all of this. That's really good. The payment method, so you understand what type of situation and when the bank balance goes down, when it is later date. So now we have an idea. Very good. Let's move on to the next bit. We have, okay, the next one, activity 4, payment method part 2 is saying match each situation with the most appropriate payment method by selecting from the pick list. Okay, the first one they're asking, paying monthly payroll to the employee. So paying the salary, monthly payroll. That means paying the monthly salary, paying the monthly salary to the employee. So what happens if you pay monthly salary to the employee? Which one is the most suitable way we have here? So backs direct credit, remember that. So backs direct credit. So if the question come in the exam, remember how we pay the wages and salaries and what is the most suitable way to pay the wages and salaries. Make sure you always choose backs direct credit. The next one is paying for goods required urgently. The goods are relatively low value. However, the supplier require immediate payment before they are dispatched. So the supplier is saying you need to make the payment fast, then I will dispatch the goods. So which payment method we going to follow? We'll follow faster payment. Very well done. Faster payment. Okay, the last one it says making a payment to acquire a new business premises. So I'm going to buy a new business premises. The funds must be transferred to the seller on the same working day. So I'm going to buy a big business. So what will be the most suitable way to make the payment? So when the amount is really big, we're going to use the Chaps. So when the amount is really, really big, we're going to use Chaps. Very well done. Very well done, Fatima. Chaps. All right. That's very good. So this is all the way. This is everything I think we need to know for this chapter. And this is the end of the chapter. Okay. Before we move to the next chapter, anyone have any question from this chapter, payment method? So, okay, so this is all. We can see something here on the chapter summary. It said there are ways to include, just quickly read this one, the chapter summary, what we learned from there. And of course, like if we have any question from this chapter, I think like this is the chapter we can get maximum mark. So I don't think so. Is there anything we need to know from this chapter? So if this question comes from the payment method, and hopefully like we'll score the full marks. Okay, Adil, what you said, could you please explain the bank hero credit payment methods? I'm really like not very good to know about these terms like bank hero credit because this one I don't think so. It's like the method we use normally. But if I find any example for that, I'll send you the email for that, Adil. And for the time being, I really don't know much about the bank giro payment because I don't think so. We use this method, and we're not expecting this one in the exam as well. But I'll have a look. If I find an example, I'll send you an email for that. All right, so let's move on to our next bit. The next topic we have. The next topic, the next chapter we have. This chapter is called Bank Reconciliation. We'll go really slow. We don't have to be really rushed. So we have 3 class. Every class will do 2 chapters. So we'll do really, really slow. And I hope all of you will concentrate, even though chapter is really small and the paper is, the module is a little bit shorter, but the exam will be tricky. So I want all of you to make sure you do some revise because this will not only help you to understand, also you need to relate to the real life scenario. For example, when you study, It's not we study only for the passing the exam. We study to connect it to our real life, to the workplace. For example, if we said like the payment method, now you and me at least know if my manager asks me like we want to pay the salary, which way you should pay? You can say, I think better if you pay by backs. If my manager asks me, we want to buy a land, I can tell like, okay, I think it's better will be if we buy through Chaps. If someone asks me like, I make a payment by credit card, but still I see the money on my bank account, what is it? So you can tell like the bank and the checks take some time to clear the balance. So this thing will help us to understand. So if you try to relate this to your real life scenario, so you'll feel you're learning something. This is very important. Okay, the next chapter we're going to see that is called bank reconciliation. So let's talk about a little bit bank reconciliation. Now, the bank reconciliation basically happen when my cash book and the bank does not agree. For example, the bank have a statement for me. Every month, at the end of the month, bank send me a statement and saying you have this money. For example, the bank send me a bank statement and telling I have £500 on my bank, and bank always will tell me it's a credit balance, it's a liability. Remember that. Bank always will tell me it is a credit balance, it's a liability. Because for bank, my money is a liability. For me, it is a debit because that's my asset. But for bank, it's a liability because this is my money. So on the bank statement, you will always see the closing balance will be CR, that means credit. Credit means the liabilities for the bank because this money is not the bank money. So that's my money. So bank keep it. So this is a liability for them. So if someone asks me how much money we have on the bank, we always choose we always choose the closing balance on the bottom right corner. Remember, we never take something from the top. So the balance we have here is the opening balance. Never take this balance. Never take this balance, opening balance. If someone asks you how much money you have on the bank, we said the closing balance. This is the money we have on the bank. On the other hand, we have our record. That is our cash book. That is our cash book. And the cash book have a debit side and the credit side. We already done this one on the bookkeeping transaction paper. So cash book debit side is all about money in for any reason. If I receive the money, I record on the cash book debit side. If I make a payment, I record on the cash book credit side. For any reason, I make a payment, I record on the credit side. Now, debit side means how much I received. For example, for the whole month, I have received 10,000 and I have paid for the whole month 9,000. So if someone asks me how much money I have on the bank, I will be able to say debit minus credit. So I should have £1,000 on my bank. I should have £1,000 on my bank. But when I receive my bank statement, my bank is telling me I have only 500. So my cash book telling I should have £1,000 on the bank, but bank is saying you have only £500. So this is the reason I have to find it out why I'm saying something and the bank is saying something. So I have to reconcile the balance, and this is called bank reconciliation. Now, what could be the possible reason? What could be the possible reason my bank is saying something and I'm saying something? Let's talk about something that bank do, but I don't know until actually I receive the bank statement. For example, bank made some payment, but I don't know it until I receive the bank statement. For example, number one, bank interest. Bank interest. So bank give me some interest, but I don't know it until I actually see the bank statement at the end of the month. When I receive the bank statement at the end of the month, I look at the bank statement and I see, oh, I have some interest. Then I record it to my book. So I look at the bank statement, I record to my cash book. Then bank charges. If bank do some charges, bank charges, if bank did some charges for any reason, I don't know it, so I didn't record it on my book. So when I receive the bank statement, I see the bank charges some money. So obviously I have to record it once I receive the bank statement. So what I do, I record on the credit side. So first, I look at the bank statement, then I record on my book. What else? Let's say bank direct credit. Bank direct credit. What is bank direct credit? Bank direct credit is when someone went to the bank and deposited some money to your account. For example, one of your customer, he paid some money directly to your bank, maybe transfer the money, or maybe he deposited the money to your bank account, but he didn't tell you. So he just deposited the money to your bank account, but he didn't tell anything to you. So this one, you're not gonna know it until you receive the bank statement. So when you receive the bank statement, you see X Limited, Y Limited, and Z Limited, they give you some money. So what you do, look at the bank statement and update your cash book. Look at the bank statement and update your cash book. Then there is something, there is something you do, but bank haven't cleared it yet. There is something you do, but the bank haven't cleared it yet. What is this? Number one, we called it outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement. What is outstanding lodgement? Outstanding lodgement is you received a check. You received a check from a customer and you deposit to the bank, but the bank did not clear it yet because the bank takes 3 days to clear the balance. For example, you received a check just before the end of the month. For example, we are in January and you received a check on 30th of January or 31st of January. But as soon as you received it, you record your book. For example, today I have received a check and I record it on my book. But I give it to the bank and bank did not clear the balance yet. So this is called outstanding lodgement. The lodgement still need to be clear. This is called outstanding lodgement. So you have increased your balance on the cash book. So you record it on the debit side of the cash book, but when the bank statement received, you don't see the money. And you tell the bank, listen, I gave you a check yesterday and I received the bank statement today. And where is the money? And the bank will tell you, listen, the check is still with us because you deposited the check yesterday and we sent the bank statement today. So check will take 3 days to clear. So the money is not lost. You will see the money next month bank statement. So you'll say, okay, that's fine. So that is called outstanding lodgement. So the money, the check you have received, but the bank did not clear it yet. Number two, Number two is something called unpresented check. Unpresented check. Unpresented check. As the word is saying, unpresented check. So that means the check is not presented yet. There is some check is not presented yet. What does that mean? That means you give a check to the supplier. For example, you give £5,000 check to one supplier, but this supplier didn't go to the bank yet. This supplier didn't go to the bank yet. So you cannot tell just anyone like, okay, take the check, go to the bank. They might go to the bank later on. So you cannot force anyone. So when you give a check to someone, on the credit side on your book, you record on the payment side. You said check is gone. But this person didn't go to the bank yet. Maybe he went to holiday. He will go after 5 days or after 7 days or after 2 weeks. So this person did not go to the bank yet. So what happened when you receive the bank statement? You're expecting less money on the bank, but the bank is saying you have a lot of money. So you just surprised. How come I have a lot of money? I issued a check, and the reason you have a lot of money on the bank because this person didn't go to the bank yet. This is called unpresented check. Now, the first thing you have to remember, very, very important, you have to remember we can update our book, our cash book. We can use, we can update our cash book, but we cannot change the bank statement. We can update our cash books, our cash book, we can update, we can update. So looking at the bank statement, I can change my cash book. Looking at the bank statement, what is missing, I can update my cash book. But if something on my cash book, I cannot change the bank statement. Very, very careful. Remember that. I can change my cash book because cash book is my record. That is with me. I can change it. I look at the bank statement. If anything is missing, I can change my cash book. But if something on my book, for example, outstanding lodgement and unpresented check, this too is on my book but not in the bank statement. I cannot change the bank statement. If something on my book and cannot change the bank statement, it will go to the reconciliation. This will go to reconciliation. So what does that mean? That means I'll look at the bank statement first. I'll look at the bank statement first and I'll update my cash book. For example, bank interest, bank charges, then bank direct credit, standing order, all of this. I'm going to look at the bank statement. I'll update on my book. My cash book I can change anytime. I'll update that. But something is on my cash book and I cannot change on the bank statement. That will go to the reconciliation. If you understand this one, for the time being, that's absolutely enough because we'll see everything. We'll practice a lot of questions, so you don't have to worry. For the time being, all you need to understand what is bank reconciliation. Bank reconciliation is the difference between the cash book and the bank statement. What is on the reconciliation? Step number one, we look at the bank statement. We look at the bank statement and we have our cash book on the other hand. So we look at the bank statement, whatever is missing on our book, we record it one by one. So look at the bank statement, update my book. Look at the bank statement, update my book. And once everything is done, then after that we see something on my book, for example, the unpresented check and the outstanding lodgement, that bank haven't done it yet. So I cannot change the bank statement. This too, I'll take it to the reconciliation. All right, so let's move on and we'll see some question and try to understand more. Okay, yes, Tahminia, they use the check. Still, they do. Yes, they do. The business, but not much, not like before. Before there's a lot, but now very limited people, they use the check. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look this illustration. So this is our example, bank reconciliation. The first thing we can see here, we have a cash book that is debit side. So cash book debit side all about how much money we have received. Cash book debit side all about how much money we have received. On the other hand, we have a cash book credit side. It's all about how much money we have paid to the supplier. So we can see here all this money we have received. Total we have received 5891. So £5,891 we have received from the customer. On the other hand, we paid to our supplier because it's a cash book credit side. We paid to our supplier 5295. So 5295 we paid to our supplier. So according to our record, how much money we should have on our bank? According to our record, we receive 5891. So 5891, this is the money we have received, and we paid 5295.90. So we should have on the bank 595.14 CP. Okay, so we said 595, 595.14. This should be the balance. This should be the balance. But when I receive my bank statement, maybe situation something different. This is my bank statement. First National Bank. This is the bank statement. On the bank statement, I have something. I have the date, I have the details, I have the paid out, I have the paid in, and I have the balance. So we can see at the beginning of the month, 1st of February, at the beginning of the month, 1st of February, we have £387 on our bank. So I want to check my cash book. What was my balance on the 1st of February? I can quickly go and have a look on the cash book debit side. I can see yes, 387.90. It's very, very important to check the opening balance. Remember that as soon as you see the bank statement, you check the opening balance with your book, because on 1st of February at the beginning balance, if it is same, then something happened in the middle. So on 1st of February or 2nd of February at the beginning opening balance, me and bank both was agree because bank balance and my balance was same. So I was happy with at the beginning. So something happened on the middle, and I can see bank is saying I have 986.50 pound credit C. So bank is saying I have more money. I am saying I have 595.14 pound, but bank is saying no, you have 986 pound. What does that mean? Either someone directly transferred the money to my account, he didn't tell me, or maybe I give a check to someone, he didn't go to the bank. There could be two reasons, isn't it? Or banks charge something, I don't know. I have to check one by one. But I can understand my balance and the bank balance is not matching. This is for sure. This is for clear that my balance and the bank balance is not matching. So when my book balance, my cash book balance and the bank balance is not matching, that time I need reconciliation. That time I have to do the reconciliation because it's not matching. I have to find the reason why it is not matching. So let's look for the reason. So we can see first thing first, we need to check first which balance connected to what. All you need to remember, the paid in side, paid in is a link to cash book debit side. Paid in link to cash book debit side. Because on the cash book debit side, if we receive the money, we record on the cash book debit side. And on the bank statement, if we receive the money, it's come to the paid in section. So that means paid in linked to cash book debit side. On the other hand, paid out from the bank. So paid out is linked to cash book credit side, because if we make a payment from our cash book, we record it on cash book credit side. On the bank statement is a paid out. So paid in cash book debit side, paid out cash book credit side. If you remember that, your life will be very, very easy. So paid in cash book debit side, paid out cash book credit side. So let's have a look one by one. Let's check first the paid in side. So that is cash book debit side. On the cash book debit side, I can see the opening balance 387, that was matching. The next one I look at the bank first, not my book. Remember, I look at the bank first. So bank said 1368.48. Let's have a look. I have it or not. I can see yes, 1368.48. I have it. It's matching. Then I have 368.36. 368.36, and I can see yes, 368.36 on my book. Then bank is saying 208.34. So I'll check. This one I don't see here. 208.34. It's not here, isn't it? 208.34. No, it's not here. So I'll see 208.34 on the bank statement, but not on my book. So I'm going to write it down somewhere because I need to write this one on my book because it's missing from my book. So I can say this is a counter credit. So I'm going to write counter credit 208.34. That's on the debit side. Cash book DR. So on the cash book debit side, one is missing from the bank statement. Okay, we look for the next one. On the bank statement, I have 200437. So I'm going to look here. That is 200437. This one I find it. Then I have 856.09. I'm going to look that 856.09. Yes, it is here. And I'm going to look for the last one on the bank statement. That is 4.84. So let's have a look at that. I don't see this one, 4.84. So that is bank interest. I'm going to write it down, 4.84 bank interest. So bank interest 4.84. All right, so that's my debit side is done. Now you have noticed that some of the thing we have on my book, on the cash book, this thing 856 was there, isn't it? Yeah. So the last two we have 648 and 256.50. This one is on my book actually, but not on the bank statement. Now, as I said in the beginning, you have to be very, very careful. If something is on the bank statement, I can update on my book. I can record on my book if something is missing on my book, but I cannot change the bank statement. I cannot change the bank statement, even though these two amount, J.J. Hammond and L. Muniz on my book, but I cannot change the bank statement. So what I'll do, it will go to the reconciliation. It will go to the reconciliation. So something is on my book, but not on the bank statement, it will go to the reconciliation. So let's write it down, these two, but I'm going to write reconciliation R. So I'm going to write this two is called outstanding lodgement from the debit side. So this two check from this two person, from the customer I have received, but the bank didn't clear yet because banks take some time. You can see the check is on, I received on 26th of February and 28th of February. That means the February month is 28 days. So bank will take some time. So I'm going to see this money on the next month. So I cannot change the bank statement right now, but I'll take it to the reconciliation. So I'm going to write here J.J. Hammond, that is 648.34, and L. Muniz, that is 257.50. And this two called it outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement. The lodgement is still not clear yet. So our debit side is done. So now we move to the credit side. Let's have a look at the credit side. On the credit side, that is linked to bank statement paid out. Remember, we look at the bank first, not our book. So look at the bank, then we check our book. So let's have a look. Look at the bank statement, 524.71. So we can see 524.71. Very good. Then the next one we have 1107.46. And we see 110.46, but it's not matching. This one 1107.46, and that is 100.7. Now you have to be careful. When we type on our book, there is a possibility we write the wrong figure. For example, we want to write 1107, but when you type in a keyboard, we write 1017. So it's possible we made a mistake. So that's why we have to check the check number. Because before I say I made the mistake, I want to see is it the same check? If this is the same check, that means I made a mistake. So let's have a look at the check number. The check number here is 10103 567. So let's have a look. 103 567. So it's exactly the same check number. That means I make a payment for 1107, but I actually write 1007.46. So £100 I wrote less on my cash book. That could be a typing mistake. So I'm going to add it now this 100 because I wrote £100 less. So I'm going to write it down on my cash book. So I'll make a note for that. Cash book credit side. So I'm going to say check 103,567 £100. All right, then let's move on. Then we have on the bank statement 66345, and I can see here 66345 on my book. Very good. Then we have 400 standing order, and I don't see 400 here at all. There is no 400 here. So that means the standing order I have paid, I didn't record it yet because bank done it automatically, so I don't know it. Now I received the bank statement, I have to update my book. So I'm gonna write SO standing order, that is £400. So I'm gonna record on my book. Look at the bank statement, update my book. Then I have 480 on the bank statement, 485.0, 485.0. Yes, I can see it here. Then we have 1035.76, 1035.76. Yes, we can see this one here as well. So only one thing is missing. Now, something is on my book as well that is not on the bank statement. So this one we can see 1233.80, we have it here. No, we don't have this one. 1233.80. Then we have 246.58. No, this is not there as well. And 10364. This is not there as well. So these three transactions is not there. So what we're going to do, we cannot change the bank statement, so it will go to the reconciliation. What does that mean? So basically, I give this check to some people. So 3 person I give the check, they didn't go to the bank yet. So we called it unpresented check, UP or unpresented check. The first one is FP Troubles, FP, that is 1233.80. Then we have K Rayleigh, KR, that is 246.58. And we have Farman Limited, that is 103.64. So these three will go to the reconciliation. So what we understand from here, whatever is on the bank statement, look at that one and update the cash book, but something on the cash book, we cannot change the bank statement, it will go to the reconciliation. End of the story, very simple. Okay, now let's move on and have a look how we solve this. Now there is a lot of matching thing, we'll go straight away there on the cash book. So we can see our cash book is now up to date. So on the cash book debit side, these two border, it shows here, these two I'm recorded newly. So this one wasn't before. I recorded 208 and 4.84. So we can see here on the cash book debit side, we found out two things. 208.34, that is exactly here, and 4.84. So 4.84. So these two are updated on my cash book. So I took it from the bank statement because it was missing on my book. I updated my cash book. Now my cash book is up to date. So my new balance on the cash book now 6104.22. So my new balance on the cash book now 6104.22. That's my debit balance. That's my debit balance. Now I'll move to the credit side now. I want to see how we updated my credit side. On the credit side, we can see we updated the two figure again. So that is our correction of the check, that is £100. We correct it, correction of the check £100, and standing order FC property 400. So these two we have found it here as well. So we updated our credit side now. So according to the updated credit cash book, my credit balance is now 6104. So credit balance 6104. It's not the, sorry, it's not, it's like the total one. So I need to add this one maybe. So let's add all of this. We can find, because they did the balance CD as well. If we added all of this and minus from 6104 from the debit, that will give us the balance CD. And this is our balance CD. And the balance CD is 308.32. So if I have the debit balance, that is 6104, and minus all of this, the credit side, that will gives me the balance CD, and that is 308.32. That means according to my updated cash book, my cash balance supposed to have on the bank 308.32, but still my bank saying I have how much? 900 extra, isn't it? I have 900 something on the bank, so that is like not true. So what we'll do, let's have a look. How much is the bank still saying? The bank saying I have 986.50, but after updating the cash book, my cash book is saying I have 300 something, isn't it? So I have 308 pounds. So let's write it down. My balance CD is 308.32. So still the bank and the cash is not matching. Why? Because few items I have on my book but not on the bank statement, because I have to reconcile it. So let's have a look how to reconcile this now. Okay, so let's move on and let's have a look how can you reconcile that. So on the reconciliation, we have to remember this formula. We said balance as per bank statement, balance as per bank statement. So this is the closing balance. Remember that. Balance as per bank statement, but it is a closing balance, not the opening. Closing balance. Balance as per bank statement, we start with that balance. Then we add the outstanding lodgement. We add the outstanding lodgement and we minus the unpresented check, and that will give us exactly the cash book balance. This is the only question when you do, and you will be sure your question is right or wrong, because your reconciliation will be exactly matched with the balance CD of your cash book. So let's have a look. The bank said I have £986.50 on the bank. This my bank is saying. Then I added the two outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement means my cash book debit side. So on the cash book debit side, remember these two items I have, but I didn't see on the bank statement. So I'm going to add it these two, because this money will be clear very soon. This money I'm going to see on my bank statement very soon. So I'm going to say this is the outstanding lodgement. So I'm going to add these two. So I'm going to add JJ Hammond. I'm going to add L Muniz. This two I'm going to add with my closing bank statement balance. Then after that, I'm going to minus the unpresented check. Unpresented check, the item I have found on my cash book credit side, that bank didn't clear it yet. Now the question is, the money will go today or tomorrow from my bank anyway, isn't it? So I have to minus this figure to reconcile it. So we have three figures, FE Trouble, K Rayleigh, and Farm Limited. Remember we found these three. We added these three, have this. So we minus these three. So we have added this with that and minus this one with that. This one gives me the balance. This one gives me the balance of 308.32. And this is exactly the balance we have on our cash book balance CD, 308.32. So this is actually the understanding of the bank reconciliation. So I'm going to explain again a little bit the steps before we do some activities so that we can participate the activities together. First, I look at the bank statement and update my cash book. So I look at the bank statement, I took the closing balance and check my cash book balance. Cash book balance means debit side minus credit side. So I check how much is the money supposed to I have on the bank. So if my cash book says 500 and the bank said 1000, so that means it's not matching. I have to reconcile it. Then I'm going to look at the bank statement and I'm going to see which item I missed. I'm going to pick one by one and update my book. So I look at the bank statement, I'll update my cash book. And once my cash book is up to date, then I'll check again, is it matching? And ours is still not matching. So something is on my book, but not on the bank statement. This one will go to the reconciliation because I cannot change the bank statement. So on my book, on the debit side, whatever I have, we called it outstanding lodgement. That means I received some check from the customer, but the money didn't clear yet by the bank, but it will be clear soon. We called it outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement on the reconciliation, I'm going to add this one. So outstanding lodgement will be added. Outstanding lodgement will be always added on the reconciliation. And after that, on the cash book credit side, I'm going to see we have something on the cash book credit side, but not in the bank statement. This is called unpresented check because cash book credit side represent the payment. So I paid to someone, some people, these three people, but they didn't go to the bank yet. We called it unpresented check. The check didn't present to the bank yet. So we're going to minus that. So with the bank closing balance, I start with the bank balance. For the reconciliation, for the bank reconciliation, I start with the bank balance, bank closing balance. Then I add the outstanding lodgement minus the unpresented check and get the balance, and this balance has to be exactly match my cash book balance. So I'll be happy whatever is my cash book is saying and my bank is saying exactly is matching. So when it is match, I'm absolutely happy. I said, yes, it is match. So my bank is saying I have this money, my cash book is says this money, and I'm happy because it's reconciled. All right, I hope we have some idea now how we're going to do it. And obviously, if we have idea, we will solve the question very slowly and then try to understand more. So we'll go to the question, actually the activities, and we try to solve it. So before you go, let's take a break. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll solve this bank reconciliation question. Hopefully after that, we know how to reconcile our bank. So let's take a break, half an hour break. Before you go, make sure you write your name for the attendance so that you can get the link for the recorded video. So I'll see you in 30 minutes time. All right, welcome back. So let's start with our one of the example from chapter number 2. Let's try this activity. This is our activity number 1, and let's have a look. Can we solve it together or not? So this one for the bank reconciliation, activity 1. The first thing we can see here, we have our bank statement. The question is saying, bike business received the following bank statement for September. So for 1 month, we receive a bank statement. That is for September. And as I said, we have to be careful with the two balance. The first one is the opening balance, that we have to be careful. And then the closing balance. So the opening balance is 10,879. So we have to check with our cash book opening balance, and we need to be agree that we have the same amount of money on that day on our cash book. If not, we have to find the difference, and we need to see what to do if there's a difference come out. Then if someone asks you how much money we have right now on the bank, we will tell we have this money, 4382. So the bank shows the closing balance. Bank shows the closing balance. So bank will tell us how much money we have. That will be the closing balance, not the opening balance. Okay. So let's have a look now. This is the bank statement. According to the bank statement, we have £4,382 on our bank. So the next thing we have the cash book. This is our cash book. The left-hand side is the debit side and the right-hand side is the credit side. Normally in the cash book in the exam, it will be like that. So left-hand side will be the debit side, right-hand side is the credit side. The debit side is all about how much money you have received. That is linked to the bank statement paid in. Credit side is all about how much money you have paid. That will be linked to the cash bank statement paid outside. And after that, we have a bank reconciliation. On the bank reconciliation, we only take that item that we cannot take it to the bank statement. Because whatever is on the bank statement, I'm going to change it on my book, on the cash book. But something is on my book, but not on the bank statement. I cannot change the bank statement. That will come to the reconciliation. What is the requirement? It said check the item on the bank statement against the item on the cash book. We're going to check every single item. Enter any amount or any item into bank cash book as needed. So look at the bank statement and look at your cash book. So looking at the bank statement and enter on the cash book. Then it said make a total and get the balance CD. So I'm going to make my cash book up to date according to the bank statement. After that, I'm going to find it out the balance CD. Balance CD means total minus the shortest side. So debit minus credit normally give me the balance CD. And finally, they said identify the two transactions that are included in the cash book but missing from the bank statement and complete the bank reconciliation statement as at 30 September. So they're asking to complete the bank reconciliation. We will do that. Okay, let's have a look. Start with our cash book. Okay, first, as I said, we're looking at the opening balance. So on 1st of September, on the bank statement, we have 10,879, so 10,879 pounds. On here, we can see on 1st of September, according to our cash book, we have 9579, so it's not matching. So we have a difference on the opening balance. Let's find it out. How much is the difference on the opening balance? That means from the very beginning, there was some difference. So let's find it out. So at the beginning, I'm saying on the bank said we have 10,879 and my cash book is saying how much we have? 9579. 9579. And how much is the difference here? So bank said I had more money, I said less money. So the difference is 1300. Very well done, Sadia. So the difference is 1300. Now the question is, what does that mean? My bank said on 1st of September, I have 10,000 pounds and I'm saying I have 9,000. 1300 pounds, I'm saying I have less. What could be the possible reason? The possible reason is I give a check to someone, I issue a check to someone, but this person didn't go to the bank yet. So I give a check to someone, but this person didn't go to the bank yet. So that's why I'm saying from my side, money is gone from my book, but he didn't go to the bank yet. That's why bank is saying I have more money. So that means if this transaction happened, I'm not going to consider this one again. Try to understand this one again. For example, this is the month of September. So before September, we have August. Before September, we have August. So let's say in the month of August, in the month of August, I give a check to someone, £1,300. On August, I issue a check to someone, £1,300. And on my cash book, on the credit side, I write £1,300. So I said money has been gone from me because as soon as I issue a check to someone, I record it on my book. But this person didn't go to the bank on that time. They maybe come to the bank after, like later, or they'll go to the bank later, but that time he didn't go to the bank. So that's the reason I'm saying I have 9,000 and the bank said I have more money because this 1,300 check did not present to the bank yet. Now what happened? What is our action? What will be the consideration when there is a difference of the opening balance? So if there is a difference on the opening balance, I need to find it out, is that amount of check is came to this month or not? So I'll have a look. Do I find any amount 1,300 on the paid out section? So on the paid out side, I can see there is a check for £1,300. So remember, this is the reason my opening balance is not matching. So when I'm going to update my cash book, I'm going to ignore this one. I'm not going to consider that. I'm going to ignore this one. Why? Because I have already done this one last month. And this is the reason my cash book saying I have less money and bank said more money. So bank actually doing it now on 13th of September, but I have already done before. So I minus it from my book. That's why my book said I have less money and this person came to the bank now. So even for the month of September, I'm not going to see 1,300 on my book, but I'm not going to take this one again. I'm not going to take this one again because I have already done this one before. How do I know I already done this one before? Because my opening balance is not matching. My opening balance saying I have a less money and bank said I have more money, 1,300. So I'm not going to take this one again because I already take it. If I take this one again for the month of September, so I'm charging or I'm calculating this amount double. So I'm including this amount twice. I'm not going to do it. Very, very important. If the opening balance is not matched, find the difference between the opening balance, the bank statement and your book, and find the amount. And if the amount is on your bank statement, ignore that. This is number one. Okay, so we're not gonna take 1,300. We'll ignore that. The next step, I'm going to check my paid in section with the cash book debit side, paid out cash book credit side. So let's have a look. Start with cash book debit side. So cash book debit side. First, I can see always I'll look at, remember, I always look at the bank statement first, not my book. So look at the bank statement and I can see on the debit side, I have 6850 and I can see 6850 here. So there is no problem, it's matching. Then I can see 590. I don't see. So sorry, I'm doing opposite. We need to see the bank statement, then we see the cash book. So 60 on the bank statement on the paid in, and I don't see 60 here. So I'm going to take it. What is that? That is bank interest. I'm going to write it down, bank interest, because I don't see it on my book. Bank interest 60. I'm going to pick it because I have to record on my book. It's not on my book. I only can see on the bank statement. The next one is counter credit PWG 6850, and I can see 6850 on my book. That is no problem. Then we have 450 counter credit. I don't see 450 here, so I'm going to take 450 as well. So that is counter credit ESD. ESD, that is counter credit 450. That's it. So this two is missing from my book. So obviously I look at the bank statement, I update on my book. So that's my bank statement. I look at the bank statement, I record it on my book. Now, something is on my book but not on the bank statement. So let's have a look. What is this? This 590 on my book, on the cash book, but I don't see 590 on the paid in section on the bank statement. But I cannot change the bank statement. So it will go to the reconciliation. So it will cannot change the bank statement. It will go to reconciliation. So this 590, I'm going to write, what is the name here? WTY 590. Okay. WTY 590. Very good. So our paid in section is done. Same way, I'm going to look at the paid out section now. I'm going to look at the paid out section. That will be cash book credit side. Let's have a look. The first one, 2960. On the cash book credit side, 2960, I can see it, no problem. Then I have 4,900 and I can see 4,900, that is no problem. Then 1,300, this one I'm going to ignore because this is the difference of the opening balance. I'm not going to take it. This one I already recorded before on my book. I'm not going to take again. Then 650 for the direct debit. 650 I can see for the direct debit. Then we have 1,000 for the check. 1,000 for the check. Then we have 50 for the bank charges. This one is not here. I don't see any 50 on my book. I can see on the bank statement 50, but it's not on my book. So I have to record on my book because my book I can change anytime. I need to update my book. So I'm going to write cash book credit side, CB credit side. The first one is bank charges. That is £50. Then the next one I have here, 297. Let's have a look. Can I see it? 297. No, 297 is not on my books. I have to record it. So I'm going to say FRD, FRD 297. Then we have 2,700, and I can see 2,700 here. So that's it. Now something is on my book, 760 WMB, and 760 is not here. So I cannot change the bank statement. So I'll take it to reconciliation. So I'm going to say I cannot change the bank statement. So I'm going to write the R. R means reconciliation. WMB 760. It will go to the reconciliation. So on the credit side means unpresented check. On the debit side means outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement always we add. Unpresented check we always minus. Okay, that's the story. Now we're going to update our cash book. Let's have a look now. First thing first, the debit side will update. On the debit side, we have two. First, we have a bank interest. We're going to write bank interest. That is £60. After that, we're going to write ESD. That is counter credit. ESD. That is 450. So these two are now up to date. This one will not come to the cash book. It's already here. I'm going to take it to the reconciliation. Then I move to the cash book credit side. On the credit side, I have a bank charges. So I say the bank charges. So bank charges £50. And we have FRD. FRD. That is 297. That's it. So this is the only 4 item I have seen on the bank statement, but not on the cash book. That's why I update my cash book. After that, all I need to do, I need to find the balance CD and BD. How we do that? We added the higher side of the cash book and minus the lower side. So all you need to do, you need to see which side looks higher. It looks like debit side looks higher because 96. Can we add the debit side and find how much is the total here? So 9579 plus 6850 plus 590 plus 60 plus 450. How much is the total here? So the total is 17,529. Okay, thank you, Nehal. 17,529. I'm going to write the same figure opposite side as well. Total 17,529. 17,529. And after that, I'm going to minus the credit side to find the balance CD. We already know how to do the balance CD. So balance CD. So minus the credit side to find the balance CD. So 17,529 minus all of the credit side. And that will give you the difference, and we called it balance CD. And the balance CD is the last day of the month. So that will be 30th of September. 30th of September. 4212. Okay, thank you very much. 4212. And that's my balance BD as well. Whatever is the balance CD, balance BD have the same figure. So you're going to write the balance BD as well. So balance BD 4212. Balance BD. Balance BD is the first day of the next month. So 1st of October. That's it. So that means our cash book is now up to date. So according to the cash book, my balance should be now 4212. That's my balance according to the cash book. So according to the updated cash book, my balance should be on the bank 4212. But my bank is still saying some different figure, isn't it? My bank is still not agreeing. So my bank, let's have a look. How much is the bank is saying? So let's have a look how much the bank is saying. So my bank is saying I have 4382, so 4,382 pound. But according to my updated cash book, I should have 4,212. So let's do the reconciliation now because it still is not matching. On the reconciliation, I start with the bank closing balance. So bank closing balance is 4382. So let's start with that. So my reconciliation 4382. So balance as per bank statement. Balance as per bank statement 4382. After that, I'm going to add the outstanding lodgement. Can anyone tell me which one I'm going to add here? Outstanding lodgement. So something was in my book, isn't it? But I cannot change the bank statement, and that will come to the reconciliation. So I'm going to add the debit side, what I have there. So that was 590, isn't it? WTY. Very well done, Tamina. So WTY, this is the one I have on the debit side of the cash book. And this check I have received from the customer, but the bank didn't clear it yet. So we call outstanding lodgement. We're going to add that. So 590. 590. And there is nothing also. We said 590 here as well. And the next thing we're going to set less unpresented check. Unpresented check. That is credit side. Something was in my book, but not on the bank statement. I cannot change the bank statement. I have to bring it to the reconciliation. So that will be how much? 760. Very well done. So that is F, that is WMB, and that is 760. There is only one unpresented check, so you're gonna say 760. So all you need to do now, this plus this and minus this. and that will give me the balance as per cash book, and our cash book balance was 4212. If it is match, that means your answer is right, because if it is not match, that means we done some mistake. So on the bank reconciliation, the bank statement should match with the cash book balance. Is it match? Very well done. So if it is match, that means our reconciliation is done. Very good. So we said 4212. Okay, so that's it for the bank reconciliation. Now, any question you have before we move to the next example? If you have any question, you can let me know now before I move to the next question. All right, that's good. So let's move on to the next question. On the next question, let's try another activity. This activity, they said, update the cash book and find the balance CDBD. That means they're not asking for any type of reconciliation. This is my bank statement. So that's my opening balance. That's my closing balance. So that's absolutely fine. And that's my cash book. And that's asking to update the cash book. So that's not a problem. Let's do that. So let's do it together very quick. First, we check the opening balance. Opening balance 7890. Let's have a look at 7660. It's not matching. So we need to find, is there any check we need to ignore? So let's have a look at 7890, 7890 minus 7660, 7660, 7660. How much is the difference? 230. Very good. And this 230 we're going to ignore. Let's have a look, paid out section. Yes, we found 230. We're going to ignore that. We're not going to take it because this is the difference of opening balance. Very well done, Sadia. So after that, we'll check one by one now. Let's check one by one. So the first, have a look the paid in section. On the paid in section, I can see 2780. Let's have a look the cash book debit side 2780. Very good. Then we have 476. 476 is not here. No, I don't see it here. So I'm going to record that. 476, that is WD. 476 WD. WD 476. Only one. I'm not going to find what is on my book and not there because this one didn't ask for the reconciliation. Only they asked for the updating the cash book. So let's have a look. This one paid in 980. 980 I can see here. Then we have 4654. 4654. Yes, I can see. Then 125 bank interest. No, I don't see 125. So I'm going to write it down. Let's write it down in the corner. So WD 476. Then you said bank interest 125. Then let's have a look what else we have. 230. I can, oh no, I don't see. Do I see 230? No, 230 I'm not going to take, isn't it? I'm going to ignore. It is the opening balance difference, yes. Then 650. 650, I can see 650, yes. Then 500 is standing order. I don't see 500 on the cash book, so I have to record that. Standing order 500. Then I'll have a look what else. 410. 410, yes, I can see it. Then 730, yes, I can say 730. Then 75, bank charges, no, I don't see 75. So I'm going to write it down, bank charges 75. 75. That's it. So I think that's all. All we need to do now, we need to record all of this. See, 476 we already done. Then we have here bank interest 125. Then we have a standing order SO. We need to write the name as well. So 500. Then we have bank charges. That is 75. That's all. So my cash book is now up to date. They didn't ask for the reconciliation, so I don't have to find what is on my book on not on the bank statement. So you don't have to look for that because they didn't ask for that. So let's now get the balance CDBD. So finding the higher side, again the debit side looks higher. So can you add all of this and find the total? How much is the total here? Total 11,336. Very well done, Nehal. 11,336. I'm going to write the same total here, 11,336. And after that, I'm going to find how much is the balance CD. We need to minus all the credit side from 11,336 to find the balance CD. So balance CD, balance carried down. Balance CD is the last day of the month. So you're going to write 30 of November here. 30 of November. That is 2476. Thank you very much. 2476. And after that, this balance sheet is a balance BD. So we have 2476. This is the balance BD. And this is 1st of December. Balance BD is the first day of the next month. That's it. So this question will ask you only update the cash book. So they don't ask for the reconciliation, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, any question from here before we move to the next question? 25 marks question will come from bank reconciliation. So make sure you understand. And obviously, this will give you a 25 marks in the exam. All right, that's good. Let's move on to the next one. The next one, they said bank reconciliation. Okay, this one give us the cash book and just only ask for the reconciliation. So this one didn't ask to update the cash book, just to reconcile. So that's fine, you can do it. So you can see the bank balance. On the bank, we have 1631, that's the closing balance. So my bank balance, that is 1631. Very good. So let's have a look what you do for the reconciliation. So before you do the reconciliation, I have to know is everything match here. So let's have a look. We start with the opening balance. Opening balance 385. You see it's a debit. Very, very careful. This one is not credit. So this is basically the bank money we are using. So this is overdraft. 385 is overdraft. So this 385, I'm not going to see on the debit side of the cash book. I'm going to see on the credit side. So on the credit side, I can see 635. So let's find the difference. 635 minus 385. How much is the difference? 635, 250. Okay, so you need to find something 250 that we're going to ignore. Okay, that's fine. Then on the paid in section, we have 4,000. Let's have a look. Paid in section 4,000. Then we have 2,500 Then we can see 2,500. Okay. Then we have 3 bank interest. We can see 3 bank interest. So which one is missing here? That is missing and that is missing. So this will go to the reconciliation. So let's write it down. Baker PLC, Baker PLC, that is 3245. This one not on the bank statement. And we have Gilchrist, Gil, that is 2416. This 2 is not on the bank statement. So this will go to the reconciliation. And this 2 on the debit side, that means it's outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement we always plus with the bank statement. Now have a look at the cash book credit side. Look at the bank statement. 250, I'm not going to take it because it's the difference of the opening balance. I'm going to ignore that. Then 483. 483, I can see it here, 483. Then we have 2165. I can see 2165 on my book as well. Then we have 1233. I can see 1233 here as well. Then I can see 135 on the bank statement, 135 on the bank statement, 135 on my book. Then I have 177 and 44. So 177 and 44. So everything is on my book. Nothing I have to update. Something is on my book, but not there. Let's have a look. What is this? So I can see 1020. This is not on the bank statement. 1020 is not here. So I'm going to write it down here. Tonks and Co. So T-O-N-K, Tonks and Co. 1020. It's on my cash book credit side. It's our unpresented check, but not in the bank statement. And Taylor Agency 547. This one also I don't see in the cash bank statement. So I'm going to write this one here as well. So I'm going to write Taylor Agency 547. 547. That's it. So that's all I have. Now I can go to the reconciliation. So let's have a look. And it's reconciled or not. But before I say it, let's check how much is the cash balance we have. So can we edit the debit side? All this plus this. So that will be this plus this and this. How much it is? So let's find the cash balance. So 4,000 plus 2,500 plus 3. So that is 6,503. And minus how much is the credit side here? So 250 plus 483 plus 2165 plus 1233 plus 135 plus 177 plus 44. So that is 4487. Please check yourself as well. 4487. Now how much is the difference here? The difference here is 6503. So difference here is how much is the difference? Is it 2016? 2016. 2016. So this is the difference we have. Okay, so this is our cash book balance. So let's have a look at that. So 57. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's do the reconciliation. So on the reconciliation, okay, that's nothing to update here, isn't it? So we have 4,000, 6,000, and we minus all of this. Oh, that's the bank statement. Why am I adding the bank statement? I'm so sorry, we're not adding the bank statement. We are getting the cash book balance, isn't it? So we basically actually do this one. Thank you, Banu. So we are not checking the bank statement. We are checking the cash book balance. So how much is the balance? Because we need to see the reconcile is match or not. Can you add all of this, please? So 4,000 plus 3245 plus 2,500 plus 2416 plus 3. So it is 12,164. Okay, 12,164. That's my debit. How much is the credit? Let's do the credit now. So 300 and how much it is? 12,164. Yeah, that's the debit. 635 plus 483 plus 2165 plus 1233 plus 1020 plus 547 plus 135 plus 177 plus 44. That gives me 6439. 6439. Please check as well. So if I minus these two, the difference will be how much? Minus 12,164. That is 5725. So our cash book balance 5725. Okay, thank you, Fatima. So we have a cash book balance 5725. So when we'll do our reconciliation, we're expecting that will be exactly matching the cash book balance. This is the reason we just find it out, the cash book balance. Now let's do the reconciliation. Let's do this one together. Balance as per bank statement. Which amount I'm going to write? Opening or closing? When I'm going to write the balance from the bank statement, which balance I'm going to write on the reconciliation? Remember always closing. I have seen some student on the exam, they take the opening balance. Never take the opening balance. Always take the closing balance. That is bottom right corner of the bank statement. So I'm going to take this balance 1631. 1631, that's my closing balance. After that, I'm going to add outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement, we can find the outstanding lodgement on the cash book debit side or credit side. Which side are we going to find outstanding lodgement? Cash book debit side or credit side? Outstanding lodgement can be found on the cash book debit side. Very well done, Evelyn. So cash book debit side will tell us how much is the outstanding lodgement. Outstanding lodgement means I received the check from the customer, but the bank didn't clear it yet, so I'm going to add it here. So outstanding lodgement, we have two here, Baker PLC, that is 3245, and we have Gilchrist GIL 2416. How much is the total here, outstanding lodgement? If I added this to 3245 plus 2416, that is 5661. Okay, 5661. Then the next one we're going to see less unpresented check. Unpresented check is linked to the cash book credit side. It's on the cash book credit side, but not on the bank statement. So the check I have given to the people, but they didn't go to the bank yet. We called it unpresented check. Unpresented check, bank didn't clear the balance yet. We're going to minus it from the reconciliation. And we're going to find it on the credit side of the cash book. So we have two here, Tonks plus and Co. So Tonks and Co, we have 1020, the balance 1020, and we have Taylor Agency, that is 547. 547. So if I added this to, how much is the total here? 1567. Thank you, Damina. 1567. Okay. 1567. So now finally what we need to do, we need to have this one, and this one. So this plus this minus this should gives me the balance that we found on the cash book. So can you do that? 1631 plus 5661 minus 1567. And that should gives me exactly the balance we have calculated on our cash book, that is 5727. If it is match, that means we done everything correctly. If it is not match, we done some mistake. So this question is so interesting because, as I said, um, this is the only question we have. Like we can tell, we can be excited, like, okay, I get 25 out of 25 because my cash book balance is reconciled with the bank statement. So if you have if you know how to do it, or if you have enough knowledge, or if you have enough information to complete the bank reconciliation, after that you can confirm I'll get 25 marks from this chapter, because it will exactly tell you how much is the cash balance and it will be matched with the bank reconciliation. And this is absolutely fantastic, because from this question you can confirm 25 is I have, so 25 I already get from the exam. So this is very, very nice chapter. And as I said, bank reconciliation is not only for your exam. Bank reconciliation is the thing you will see everywhere. Every organization you're going to work, you have to make the bank reconciliation. If you're a bookkeeper, there is no doubt you will be the person who need to reconcile the bank. If you are assistant accountant, still you have to do the bank reconciliation. There is no way any organization don't do the bank reconciliation. So every single organization, every single company, they do bank reconciliation. So this is very, very important. So for your workplace, for your exam, both purpose. And obviously, as I said, 25 marks we're expecting from this chapter. And as you see, it's not very that difficult. It's a bit tricky, but it's not extremely difficult. Like it will take a lot of time because we're done with the class now. And obviously, if you do a little bit practice, I can give you a guarantee. If you just spend half an hour the way we practice, if you practice half an hour, this 3 question in bank reconciliation, you will get 100% marks. So you're not going to lose any marks from the bank reconciliation side, because the bank reconciliation will be exactly the same question in the exam. So please make sure you do some revision from this side, because we're expecting a lot of marks. And of course, like there will be a lot of thing on the exam as well. Now this question, task number B, is asking the bank balance carried down. So this is the balance CD, that will be 5725. This is the one we have calculated already. So it's the carried down of the cash balance. And this is the bank column total. So that was the total of the bank column side. I don't remember how much was the total on the cash book debit side. So let me check if we can find it out. How much was the total for the cash book debit side? Or we can check again. For example, on our cash book, if I added this side, whatever is the total, this one we're going to write on the bank column total. So if you added all of this, I think it was 12,000 something. So this one, 12,164. Thank you, Manu. So that will be here on the bank column total, 12,164. And on the balance sheet will be the balance sheet, that is 75725. So this is from the balance carried forward. So that's how we can complete the question. And obviously this will not give you any hassle if you remember the basic stuff. The basic stuff means checking the opening balance. As soon as you see the bank statement and the cash book, your first job will be look at the opening balance on the bank statement and look at the opening balance on the cash book and try to match it. If you find the difference, and you find the difference, how much is the difference? And whatever the difference come out, you look for the same figure on the bank statement and you ignore that. This is number one, step number one. Find the opening balance difference, ignore that balance on the bank statement because you already took it, don't took it again. The next one is look at the bank statement and update your book. Look at the bank statement, update your cash book. Look at the bank statement, update your cash book. So you do one by one. So first you look at the paid in section of the bank statement and look at the cash book debit side. Paid in, cash book debit side. Paid in, cash book debit side. And after that, your cash book will be up to date for the debit side. Then you open the cash bank statement again. Then this time paid out. Paid out, cash book credit side. So you see what is missing from the bank statement to your book. Whatever is missing on your book from the bank statement, update or record on the cash book. After that, your cash book will be up to date according to the bank statement. But still, your bank statement and the cash book will give you the different figure because you will have some figure on your cash book that is not on the bank statement, and you cannot change the bank statement figure. So what you will do, you do the reconciliation. So if something from the cash book debit side, this is called outstanding lodgement, that will be added on the reconciliation. If something on the cash book credit side that not on the bank statement, this is called unpresented check, that will go to the reconciliation under the outstanding lodgement as a minus. So you will start on the reconciliation balance as per bank statement. Which balance? The closing balance. So balance as per bank statement. So you take the closing balance, you add the outstanding lodgement that you get from the cash book debit side, and you minus the unpresented check that you get from the cash book credit side. And after that, the balance you have, that will be exactly match to your cash book balance. Then you will say, well done, done. We're happy. All right. Okay, so any question from here? So far, we have done chapter 1 and 2. We'll do at like 2 chapters every week, so we don't have to be rushed because we have only 6 chapters. We'll try to do 2, a little bit more, so that we can finish on time. So we'll take 3 class. We'll complete the class. We'll complete the whole book. Any question from here so far? Bank reconciliation and the payment method. If you want to ask me any question, you can ask me right now. Or if you practice, if you stop anywhere, you have my email, you can email me. I'll definitely get back to you. And I have sent you the book as well. I sent an email, this book to everyone. I hope everyone received it. If you didn't receive it, just give me an email. I'll send it to you again. And maybe after 1 or 2 class, I'm going to send you the practice question, the question bank, and you can practice from there as well. So hopefully, like, this course will be easy for us. And after that, we'll do the exam. We pass the exam, level 2 will be done. So we'll be like bookkeeper for the level 2 qualified. All right, so if you have any question for me, please write it down. If you don't have, you can ask later on with the email. Otherwise, we're going to see next week each other. So I'll say thank you very much for joining me today, everyone. Obviously, like that was like kind of after 2 weeks we met. I hope like you had a very good time last 2 weeks, and you will have a nice week ahead. And we'll meet each other so next week, same time. And during this time, do some practice, little bit, not too much, half an hour, 1 hour, do some practice so that you don't forget it. And during your practice, any question you have, just let me know with the email. I'll get back to you. If you need anything, anytime, just let me know. I have your email. I'll get back to you. Okay, so thank you, Banu. Thank you, Merul. Thank you, Nihal. So we'll see you soon. Take care of yourself, and we'll see each other next week.